You're now listening to the 1130 podcast. Enjoy the show.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre and Willsy is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast, Dre and Willsy is the one.
He the one, nigga.
So let's get it, baby.
He the one.
Who with me?
So the breeze, baby.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is, man. Welcome back, everyone, to the 1130 podcast. What's good, everybody doing out there on this beautiful Wednesday? We back at it, you guys. It's the middle of the week. You know what time it is. It's not 7:30. It's 11:30, man. It's time for the podcast. Yes, good morning to everyone who's listening to me on EB Radio this morning. Woo, appreciate it. Everyone, man, for downloading the free EB Radio app. You just was listening to some dope music. Now you're here with the 1130 podcast, man. Dre on Wheels. Let's get it, man. Thank everyone for joining me back here. For everyone who's watching on YouTube, appreciate it so much. If you're new to the 1130 podcast, because there's a lot of new people, man, joining in each and every week to the 1130 podcast. Make sure you subscribe, smash that subscribe button, like it, leave a comment, and do all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, man, back at it, man. Great guest coming up this week here on the podcast. Her name is Difernt. Yes, man. Different episode each and every week, man. But her name is Difernt. She's from Houston, Texas. She's an author. She's a motivational speaker. She's the owner of a business, Third Eye Entertainment, LLC. She has a new book out, you guys. A new book out, and it's called What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift. Yes, man. We're going to chat it up with Difernt. Chop it up with her about her awesome new book and everything, man. That's going to be great, you guys. For real, that's coming up in just a bit. But you guys, I hope you guys are having a blessed week. I appreciate everyone joining me back here on the podcast, man. For real. Before we get into the show, I want everyone to follow EB Radio on Instagram at EB Radio _. For real. But you guys, man, we ain't gonna waste no time because I got an amazing guest coming up. But you guys, we're gonna start this week off with the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Man, this is crazy, man. Rock band. A rock band was on stage this past weekend, you guys. And man, oh man, what went down was crazy, yo. It was a WTF. Rock band lady was like, yo, man, anybody want to come on stage and get a golden shower? Now, once I saw this, I'm like, really? Really, no. But check this out. WTF. Like WTF though, for real though. Like you gonna pull your pants down on stage though and urinate on my face and my like really WTF though. Like that's crazy though with everything going on in the world right now with coronavirus and like with people who were just the Asteroid World concert just went down last weekend. That's what you give back to your fans to say, yo, you know what, I'm pissed on you. And then some dude, he just I can't believe this though. Like what are we doing now? Like, really, what are we doing? And she went on to her social media accounts to apologize to some fans. Like, you apologizing for doing some dumb, crazy shit like that? Like, WTF, though. Like, come on, man. Shit is crazy, guys. Shit is crazy, man, for real. But you guys, man, I had an amazing guest that's coming up. Her name is Difernt. Once again, she's from Houston, Texas. She's an author, of our new book called What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift. Different is joining me right now here on the podcast. Different, how's it going?
What's up, Dre? Thank you so much for having me. What's up, everybody out there listening and watching? Yes, my name is Different, spelled Difernt, so you guys know how to spell that. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm blessed to be here and excited to share with you all, my story, my business, and my new book, What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift. So, yeah, man, like you said, let's hop right into it. 1130 Podcast. Let's get it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Different. Thank you for once again, reaching out to me. It's always an honor, as I always say to guests that reach out to me to be on the podcast. As I'm approaching the 2-year anniversary of the podcast and just been doing my thing consistently. I always see it as being grateful and just humbleness that someone reached out to me to be on the podcast. So it's amazing. Once again, Different. You spelled your name a little different. Did you always have that name Different, or how did you came about?
And so I had my little identity crisis breakdown, if you will. But I guess something that we all go through. We have to question ourselves and ask, who am I? What am I? Why am I here? And just something I had went through in college, and just the name I came up with, but the meaning behind the word different and the term different for me. A lot of the times when you hear people say, "Oh, I'm different," "Oh, I'm not like most people," that's a vanity. That's they're upping themselves. And as it should. Everybody should be their own number one fan. But for me, when you hear the word different, for me, it means to be different from who you was in your past. A lot of us, we have, skeletons in our closet, shady past. We didn't like the person that we was before. And for me, my background coming up, I wasn't the best person, I could be. And so it took me taking a, ugly look at myself and facing the ugly truth about myself into where it forced me to change, that negative side of me and become something different than what I was at that time. So when I say my name is different or I'm different, it's not of vanity, it's of humility. It's to be, different from and better than what you was or who you was in the past.
Okay.
So that's so when I say different about me, it's not, oh, I'm better than this person, or I'm not like that girl, I'm different from all the most. No, I'm just like everybody else. I make, fuck ups and mistakes, but I'm not like who I was in the past. I'm better now. I'm a better different person than what I am.
Hey, Different. I dig it. I dig it. This is a podcast where you got to be, open and just, let it all out. So I appreciate that. You got to be different.
Let me tell you, I did my research and I did my homework, and I only specifically reached out to podcasts who I knew can handle grown folks talks and was, not gonna say no disrespect to anybody other podcasts out there, that's soft and can't handle, grown folks conversations. This is what we about to have, full disclaimer up front. But that's why I researched you. I looked out and checked out, your podcast and seeing, the conversations that you were having. And it's definitely, entwined to what, my business, Third Eye Entertainment, is about, bringing social awareness to society, on issues that are taboo and people often sweep under the rug or look the other way. And so I think it's fate. I completely that, we linked up and I reached out to you and, you just responded. Like I said, I reached out to you. A lot of people, who I thought were be able to handle, these type of conversations, and you were one of the few that responded. And so I'm so happy to you and grateful for you to doing so. And so I'm not doing you no favor, you doing me a favor, and I'm grateful for you to have me, man. Much appreciative.
I'm appreciative. You doing me a favor by being here on the podcast, because last week I was just talking to myself. I had a guest a couple of weeks ago, and I was just chatting with her.
Talk about it all.
Yeah, just you could just go on and just talk about it all, but how long can you do that and talk to yourself for so long? But yes, you're doing me a favor, Different. I appreciate you being here on the 1130 podcast. I also was doing my research. I love your story, and you have an amazing, inspiring story. Like you said, we all go through stuff and got our backgrounds and stuff like that. But you in your story, you were talking about being homeless and stuff like that, and how everything, changed from you around the age of 11. What did you realize the moment that, life was no longer normal for you?
The exact day I came home from school, I was actually a Girl Scout, you would believe. And I came home and I had the permission, so we were going to do like a something trip that I was going to go on with Girl Scouts, and I came home and I told my mom, excuse me, sign it, some to a degree. That's all I was worried about. And she was just telling me, we got other things. You ain't gonna be going. I wasn't understanding it at the time. Me as just, an 11-year-old, I'm thinking, why can't I go? She's not telling me, letting me know at the time. Well, we're about to, leave this apartment. We're about to basically be homeless and not have a place to stay. And so that's why I wouldn't be able to go to the camping trip, if you will. But from then on, we stayed pillow to post for 3 years, sleeping in hotels, parks, bus stops, shelters, relatives' houses, any place out there, even the crack house at one point, you name it. And that's just what happened until the time I was around 14. That's when I was secretly placed in foster care by a relative. And at the time that I was placed, I didn't know it. But for the first 6 months, I tried to come home. And then I found out that another foster care that if you stayed in the state of Texas, if you aged out of foster care or was adopted by a certain age, they would pay for your tuition waiver to college. And so right then and there, me being from the streets and, understanding the street life, I just decided to use my street smarts to elevate my book smarts there, and just decided to, so my family found me. I told them I was going to stay and, do got those 4 years in foster care so that I would be able to have a way to go to college. And that's just what I did. And by that time, I was 18. I went off to Sam Houston State University. So shout out to all the Bearcats out there. And it was such a blessing in disguise because I ended up starting my own student organization titled Pay It Forward, organization that's tailored to mentoring, educating, and volunteering to kids that were in foster care, as well as the youth in general. That's actually where my motivational speaking seed was started, if you will. I would go to different high schools speaking to kids about the importance of education and just sharing my story with them. And a lot of them would come to me and tell me, wow, your story touched me. So that's where that seed was planted. I was also blessed with the opportunity to travel abroad, and I got to study in South Korea at King University. And within that opportunity, I got to travel to 8 other countries. And so that's where my travel bug was born, if you will. And then here I am, fast forwarding to 4 years. I graduated with my bachelor's in international business, and I have 2 minors in economics and business communication. I also have my master's degree in entrepreneurship. Not to mention, I'm a Texas real estate agent, and now I'm CEO of my own business and the author of my own book, What is the Controversial Paradigm Shift? I've been all over the world, been to just about 50 countries. Love doing MMA, reading, writing, meditating, practicing chakra healing and aromatherapy, and just being in tune with my third eye and just yeah.
You've been through a lot. I love it. I really do. The story is really amazing. I got to stop you for a moment because I really got to ask some questions. I got to go into it though. I don't want to lose my questions or anything like that. But I love the story and everything. You talked about how you've been homeless and stuff like that, and at the age of 11, and how things really changed for you and stuff, and you've been put in to foster care. You say you were secretly put into foster care, and of course, I didn't know once I was reading the story, and I'm like, that's kind of, in a way, it's kind of, cool because once you age out of the system, your fees in college, stuff is waived, and it was, gave you a platform and a gateway straight on to college and stuff like that. But once you said, you were secretly put into, foster care, were you alone by yourself, or, were anybody else with you? How did you handle that?
As far as like other family members, no, it was just me. And I had to go through that, dealing with different placements and different kids, because I wasn't the only one, and I'm not the only one in that system that had that type of problem. So when you get in that system, in that situation, be honest and keep it 100, you become a number if you get lost in the system, and it's hard. At one point, I was living in a foster home that had 12 girls in there, and this lady, she really wasn't a good foster parent. She was just doing it for the checks. That was just basically her business, and so it's like that in the system sometimes. And so that's why when that incident happened, I can't think of the young lady's name. It just happened. She was shot by the police. Jakira was her name. I can't believe. I think that's her name. I'm sorry if it's not, but I completely understand what she was going through and what could have happened and what probably went down in that situation, because I too been in that type of situation to where I was living with a foster parent and they had other foster kids who they were, their favorites, and they would have them gang up on me, and I would have to, fight and defend myself coming up. Like I said, I was a Girl Scout, but I basically, had to turn into, a thug in high heels, if you will. I was a nerd and I still am a nerd, but like I like to tell people, I'm a nerd from the hood. So, if you bully me, I'm a bully back. And that's what it was for me at time, going up through high school. We all had to deal with bullying, but that's just how I dealt with it. I bully back. And so I got that reputation just not to be fucked with, if you will. But, and so everybody just kind of stayed out my way and I stayed out of everybody else's way.
Okay.
Maybe yeah, but and also, like I said, I got that reputation that, just push people off, and got that notion of, don't mess with her. And so that's how it had to be for me, because, couldn't trust nobody and what their motives was. It's a lot of times, the people that came in my life were there for their own personal gains. And so I learned that at a young age, you got to look out for number one, but that shouldn't make you a hard person on the inside. That shouldn't turn you and to away from believing that there's good in this world. There is evil in this world, but there is more good. You just got to look at it and see for what it is, and know that you have to let your goodness shine and overcome your badness with your good. Hope I'm making some people out there. I know sometimes I can get off topic and ramble, but that's just what it was for me. I couldn't let it turn inward, although it did at some point in my time, ergo my adulthood. I got my shit together. I faced my and fixed my demons, and I still am. I'm not a perfect person. Don't get it twisted. I still have my muck ups. I'm dealing with depression right now as we speak. Losing 4 people this year alone. It takes a real bad toll on you. So that's why I'm telling anybody out there that's going through any type of mental anguish that to know that you are not alone out there. Anybody feeling suicidal, especially right here and now, please call this number 1-800-273-8255. Or anybody out there need any other resources, go to mentalhealthishealth.org. Check your local, resources and look it up online, do your own homework. But just know that it's okay to not be okay, but just don't sit there and not be okay. Whatever you went through as a child, know that it was not your fault. It was out of your control. But as an adult, it's your problem to fix, because you're the one that's losing sleep at night. You're the one that's tossing and turning and can't move on from the past. Otherwise, that person that hurt you, they moved on to the next victim. They're not worried about you. They don't care. They don't expect for them to come back and, mend that broken bridge. It's not their problem to deal with anymore. It's on you. And that's the ugly we all have to face. That's what I have to face. And once I did that, I was able to, release myself from that mental bondage by God's grace. If you will. It wasn't just me. I ain't self-made. I'm God-made.
Yeah.
But God, He gave. I need to battle that demon of self-destruction, because had I not recognized my self-destruction and took control of that issue and work and continue to work on this issue, like I'm a work in progress, and so it's not done for me. I'm still working constantly. But
you talked about how you've been going through a lot of stuff, and you dealt with depression and bullies and stuff like that, and you also was talking about how Black people don't go to therapy, and that's the saying, Black people they got a problem or something wrong with it, they got to deal with it and stuff like that. So what was the moment that you got the courage enough to say, what, I'm going to therapy to deal with the stuff that I'm going through, as far as depression?
Like I said, just living in the past, stuck on the past of my mistakes, and couldn't get over what I did and how I mucked up my own blessing. Like I said, I had that interview and I didn't go because I stopped believing in myself. I let the demons in the back of my head tell me I wasn't good enough for that, meeting, or that person, they were just taking pity on me because, my story, my background. And I purposely showed up late to that meeting, and it left a sour taste in their mouth. And he basically, that person was a millionaire. They was well connected, that I could have been basically a millionaire if you will. I'm 30 years old now, and this happened when I was around 2021. And so I was young, give myself that, but still, I let my demons overtake me, and I always said with that, what if, what if I would have went to that meeting? What could have happened? Oh man, I could have been got my family up out of these, this the situation. And so that right there, eating away at me for years. It wasn't just days; it was years that this ate at me. And so, and it faced me. It till one day I just woke up and said, you know what? That's my fault because I'm sitting there, letting these demons in my past and these negative thoughts that I need to get control over, have control over my life. And so that's just what I did. And so that's when I said, fuck it. I'm gonna go to therapy. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care nobody think. I don't care who don't like hearing my story or who tired of hearing it, who don't want to hear it. It's my story and I'm gonna stick to it. So it is what it is.
Hey, I really dig it though. I really do. That's an awesome story. You got to stick to it. You got to go to therapy. We all need some, help out here. As far as Black people, we're afraid to turn to someone and ask for help. We always, got putting that pride in front of us, and I've done it before too. But, like if you're going through something, talk to someone, call someone and, check someone out though. You mentioned good.
Even if you're too proud to talk to somebody about it, because that's how it was for me for the longest. I didn't want to talk with anybody. I just coming up in an environment of you've been taught, what goes on in this house stays in this house. That's also heavy in the Black community. We have that we have that instilled in us to not express or tell how we feel to the public or what's really going on inside. And so that's also an issue, that holds a lot of us in the Black community back, from talking about our feelings. So even if you're stuck in that situation, find other options. So if you don't want to talk to a therapist or you don't want to waste your time or money talking to somebody, putting other people in your business, then find another outlet such as, writing or picking up another hobby. I know one guy, he likes to go fishing. And so I definitely, advocate for the Black male, for them to find positive outlets and how to express themselves mentally, get that mental anguish off them. I know, and the when the females were Black female, I know we go through a lot of hell. And I know I'm not a man, but I can tell you, from what I witnessed, with the Black male community, just, what they've been through as I've seen as an adult, I feel for y'all. And so I can imagine what you guys are going through mentally, how y'all not able to express yourself, and when y'all do, y'all seen as weak. And so I say this as a Black woman, I don't think it's weak for a Black man to express himself when he's down and feeling vulnerable and needs to get some shit off his chest. If there's anything bothering you and upsetting you, be man or female, if it's eating away at you at night, if it's keeping you up and you can't move on and do the things you have to do in life, and get that shit off your chest, set yourself free, because at the end of the day, people gonna go on with their lives, whether you stuck in bondage or not.
Different. You have an amazing book, like I was saying earlier in the podcast, that's out right now. What if a controversial paradigm shift that's available now? Can you tell my listeners about it? Because this is something really informative that I think a lot of my listeners could learn from. And with everything that's been going on in the country as far as like the last 2 years or so, that's for injustice and racial stuff like that. But you got the floor. Can you let my listeners know about your book?
Definitely. So my new book, What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift, is a book written to inform and encourage constant thought-provoking conversations about injustice and systemic racism in America through graphic but provocative illustrations. What If provides a different perspective by detailing controversial deaths and events that have occurred in America within the African American community within 4 categorized paradigm shifts, such as historical, political, precedent, and hypothetical. Before I go any much further, I must say that the book does come with a disclaimer. It's intended for a mature audience only, so if you can't take this type of heat, do not bother coming to this kitchen. Again, the reason why, like I said in the past, the death of George Floyd, me wanting to have my voice heard about the situation and asking God, which way can I go about it that's going to hit them where it hurts, but also, invoke, or hope to promote, systemic change over time. And so, although I have the illustration set up to be gritty and grimy, that's meant to make people think and share their thoughts about the issue, of seeing a white person being hung up and lynched by a black man or being whipped and beaten by a black man. Like I said, I have been categorized in four main paradigms: historical, political, precedent, and hypothetical. And not as well as the book wasn't just written to, encourage those with thought-provoking conversations. It's also meant to, stimulate those who are mature enough to make it to the end to hypothetical paradigm. They will see that I'm not just talking about black and white. I'm talking about others as well, including, Native Americans, Latinos, Asians, and, even, the Hispanics, if you will, and Muslims. And so it's not just about black and white, it's about unity and coming together as one and having compassion for one another and mankind. Because, we're all going through something.
Yo, you guys, man, it's been an awesome show here on EB Radio and in YouTube, man. For real, the 1130 podcast, we got good vibes, man. Each and every Wednesday, good vibes all the way. But you guys, man, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And on the other side, we're going to continue the show, man. For real. I got my guest Different here joining me, talking about an amazing book and overcoming, her amazing odds in life. For real. Don't go nowhere, you guys. You're listening, you're watching to the 1130 podcast. You dig?
Welcome to EB Radio.
Everyone has something to say, a story to tell. We make it easy to share yours. So let's talk.
Regardless of your podcast setup, hit record. And from there, whether your podcast reaches 10 people or 10 million, we can help you get heard wherever listeners are.
And who knows, maybe even quit your day job.
But no matter who hears you, it's about connecting and sharing something from your perspective.
It's about having a voice and using it without anything standing in your way. Say it all with Anchor.
Yo, what up? This your boy Kenneth Stones, aka Coffee Weaston.
This your boy D.O.E. Good Brother Bold.
And we are the Dirty Hills. You already know, man, you tuning in to 1130 podcast. Mm-hmm. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Dude, that's my job. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Yeah. And you have been Dirty Hills approved.
We back here on EB Radio and YouTube. Appreciate everyone sticking with me throughout the short commercial break. Appreciate it so much, man. It's been an awesome show. I had my guest Different, man. Yes, it's always a different episode each and every week here on the 1130 podcast. But yes, my guest Different. She's an author, motivational speaker. She's here to chat about her new book, What If? A Controversial Paradigm Shift, that's available right now. She's from Houston, Texas. We're going to get back into the show with my guest. Different, what inspires you?
God, my nephew, who always asks me every day, are we rich yet? And so, I want him to have the life that I didn't have coming up. And so that motivates me. And then also with my mother, I just want to, give her the best before, she deserves to have it. And so that just what motivates, as well as me. I'm worthy of it as well. And so that's what keeps me inspired, what keeps me motivated, and what keeps me going.
Okay, cool. That's dope. You got to have something that keeps you inspired here each and every week. I always thought I'd ask my guests what inspires them because, each and every day is rough. We always wake up, one day we could wake up, fine. Another day we could wake up on the wrong side of the bed. But it's always something that you got to hold on to be grateful and have something, some gratitude. Yeah, that takes you a long way in life. But you guys, man, we're going to move on here on the 1130 podcast. It's time for the 1130 podcast hot seat. Different here on the hot seat each and every week. I got 6 questions for my guests, and we're going to roll with it. You down?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's get it. All right. How would you want to be remembered?
As a person, who lived her life fearlessly, unapologetically, boldly, bravely, cautiously as well. But, I'm a Sagittarius. Sometimes I could be reckless. But, all in all, I'm a good person. And I try to give back. And so I want people to remember the good. And don't try to hide the bad about me because it is what it is. Keep it real about me. But take, live the way I live my life, how, I'm not a perfect person, but God still was able to bless me just because I've always called on him and fell on my knees and believed and know that he was the one to turn to in the time of need, and even when it wasn't. And so I don't try to get religious because I'm not a religious person, but I'm more of a spiritual person. So just a way to be remembered, just a person, who's blessed by God, and just an example of a person he can take from the back to the front. And so that's just how I would want to be remembered. I'm gonna learn.
I dig it. I really do. I really love that. If you found $2,000 on the ground, what would you do with it?
Shoot, boy, you don't want to ask me that question on when I'm recorded. Somebody else, if I said a prayer before, asking for God to send me a financial blessing, and it just up and pops up, so hey. If I see some profit, of course I'm going to return it. But if I see somebody ain't around, I'm gonna do the natural thing that everybody else would do.
Okay. If you were stranded on a desert island and you could only have one item, what would it be?
It would be selfish to have somebody else with you because, you got to be, mindful how they feel about being stuck on the island with me. But I am a full-time job. So I say, I have to say between reading and music, like music or reading material, something to keep my mind occupied.
Okay, cool. I probably said, when I was thinking of this, I said, maybe we can find some type of Wi-Fi so I can call somebody so I can get stranded off of this damn desert island or something.
You don't want to be found or contact nobody. Oh yeah, but yeah, that's what I'll burn a bunch of trees. Or yeah, you're right. That's what I would want. Take that back. I would want some kerosene and a lot of wood.
Okay. All right. What are some challenges you think the next generation will face?
That's a good one. And I want to think before I speak. So let me think about it first. I want to just blurt out something. Think on this. It's an issue for me. I would say this because I grew up with the old school. I had a big mama, a Gigi, and a Medea. And so I'm in between. I was born in 90. And so I like to say we the last Mohegans. Yeah. Old school and new school. But with these millennials, you goddamn millennials, no disrespect to y'all millennials out there listening, but a lot of y'all, like what I've noticed, y'all entitled. It's like, it's my right, I got a right, it's mine, this, that, and that, third. You don't have a right to shit. You gotta earn it just like everybody else. And so that's one thing I learned from the old school, appreciated that, is that, some of their ways, I will agree, was mucked up, could have been better, but a lot of their ways, it kept us on track, with the discipline, especially in the Black community. We need that discipline and that structure, to have those solid foundations. And so I applaud the, old school for the ways that they had to do what they had to do. But now as the new school and as the next generation that comes forth, let's be more socially aware of, things that we say to our children, how that can damage them. Mm-hmm. And we treat people and be mindful of, although words can't kill you per se, they can't drive you to a point to where you make a person want to end it all. So I definitely understand what it means and why people are being more socially aware of what they say on TV and how a lot of times people are trying to deflect and say, oh, you're being soft or you turn this generation soft. No, we're not. It's just, the times that we're living in, there's a lot of people or kids, if you will, that, go to school and, kill themselves because of what they go through, dealing with bullying, or they come back to that school and, kill other kids that have nothing to do with what's going on. And so it's because of, things that was in the past and, how it was that, that affected us. But now we're older, or we've grown, if you will. And with this next generation, if they get out the self-entitlement, for those who feel that it's their right and just work for it and keep it going, then I think we'll be just fine. Mm-hmm. That's what I like about this old school, is that they're becoming more, this new school, that they are becoming more socially aware and working on the ways of how we were in the past. It was a little harsh, it was hard, but we're doing better than it was. But then on the other side of it, I understand why we needed those ways, if you will. I do apologize, man.
I definitely agree with what you're saying on the last one, because this generation, one thing about this generation, they are some entrepreneurs. I tell you that, with a lot of things going on for our social media and stuff, TikTok and stuff, and them cutting the middleman out. So yeah, they got that going on. But you are right. These new generations feel like they are very, very entitled. What motivates you to work hard?
I don't want to be broke. Shit, I don't want to go back to the life I was living. Shit, I see all these other people, how they getting rich quick. Well, how they going viral and they just living their life. And I'm thinking, shit, why not me too? I have all these gifts and talents and this education, and it'd be a waste. That's one thing I would hate to do, is God, for him to bless me with all these gifts and talent, and I just let them go to waste and don't share them with the world, and I don't use what I got to get what I want, i.e. that good life. And so that's what motivates me. Shit, that I want to live that good life just like everybody else. But also, it's more than just about me. Like I said, I want to create that generational wealth for those that's going to be after me, for my children, their children, and with my nephew as well. He's a part of the book too. He's in the book trailer, as well as he's on the front cover as well in the book. He's the little black boy that's at the table. He's the one asking the questions. So if anybody out there asking, why is this an adult book but got kids on it? I set it up in rudimentary form because a lot of the times kids see what adults can't see, as well as I have a lot of pictures to keep people who don't like to read a lot of words attention. And I keep the questions short and simple and to the point. So as well as if the questions don't get you, the illustrations will. And so again, what drives me to keep going, I got people counting on me, man. I'm counting on me, That's what motivates me to keep going.
Okay. What's something that you ate regular as a child, but you cringe at it, the thought of eating now?
I'm sorry, say that one more. You said something eating as a child?
Yeah, what was something that you used to eat regular as a child, but you can't even stand the thought of eating it now?
Shit, I ain't gonna say that because I still got to eat it at the time. Beanie weenies. But okay. Ain't gonna me much longer. Shoot, I'm slowly but surely, started from the bottom. But like I said, this is what keeps me humble, if you will. I'm still, going through the same things. Even though I've traveled all over the world and, done good things, my life ain't all grand. I'm still, living a regular life like everybody else. And so to say that, I guess coming up, one thing I hated eating was spaghettis, and I still wouldn't eat it. And so when I had these spaghettis, no, I turned real bougie.
Yeah. Hey, that's what's up. Spaghetti is always on my menu. One thing I say when I was thinking of it, eggs. I used to eat eggs when I was little. Now I can't even, my stomach be, always hurting though. But one thing, Doritos. They don't make Doritos, nacho cheese Doritos like they used to make them back in the day. So now they ain't even all that good. They just, I don't even know. I don't know. But Different. I appreciate you joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast. Before you go, any questions, any shout outs, anything you would like to say, tell everyone where they can get your new book at and everything.
Yes, shout out to my mom, my nephew Pookie, everybody out there who's listening and watching me. Don't forget to go buy the book on my website, differentsworld.net. Check out all my other social media handles, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm on all that good stuff. Also, please be advised that the book does come with a disclaimer, so you can't take this type of heat again. Don't come to this kitchen. What else? I have other good things. Just got to go to my website and look at all the events that I got posted. Thank you so much again, Drake, for having me on the show. I truly appreciate the opportunity. And everybody out there listening, don't forget, whatever it is in life that you want, you have to manifest, plan, and prepare for it, and it will surely come to you. It's the 12.
Hey, no problem. You heard it here, you guys. EB Radio and YouTube. Go get the book, you guys, and go follow Different. It's Different world.net. You guys go to the website. All the links are going to be down in the description below here on YouTube and everything, you guys. Once again, Different. Thank you for joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast.
Thank you for having me, King Dre. Have a good one.
Thank you so much, Different. I appreciate you joining me here on the 1130 podcast. It was really awesome. Your story is very, very inspiring, very motivational. From coming from homelessness and just bouncing around in the foster, system and when you mentioned, how certain people, I watched the movie on it, but this is real life. There's certain people who will, adopt, kids and do all this, be foster parents just for the money, and they're not doing it so the kid and so the child can have a better life or anything. They just doing it so they can have money in their pockets or whatever like that. But I appreciate you coming on and being vulnerable and just being open and just telling your story. I appreciate it so much. And man, like, it's never too late, you guys. It's never too late to accomplish and do whatever you want to do in life. So go after it. Go hard at it, you guys. For real, go hard at it. Whatever you want to do, go hard at it. Don't let nobody tell you no. Don't let nobody tell you you can't do it. Believe in yourself. Have faith in yourself and walk by faith and not by sight, man. For real. Because a lot of people, man, try to walk by, sight and what they see, man. No, walk by faith, man. Having faith in the Almighty, man. Man, there's been another great episode here on the 1130 podcast, man. Yo, go to Difernt. That's DIFERNTS world, you guys, .net. For real, differenceworld.net. Get all the information on Difernt and her amazing story. Go cop the book. It's available right now. Once again, thank you, Difernt, for joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast. But you guys, man, before we head on out of here, we got a returning segment of the podcast. Wait, did I just see that?
Tell me.
Yes, man. Did I just see that? Man, it's this lady named Brooke, man. She's on TikTok, and the video just went viral, man. Yes, viral. It's so crazy, though. Like, and I was saying to myself, did I really just see this, though? But yeah, Brooke, man, is a swinger,
Bye, baby. Don't forget to kiss my sister, buddy.
Oh, that's right. Bye.
Want to know how I keep my man happy? I let him play with my mom. Do you want to know how I keep my man happy? I let him have Asian for dinner. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Her mother, though. Now, what type of boo-boo fool shit we got going on here, though? Like, I mean, to each his own, though. Like, I ain't in the position to judge nobody. But I'm just like, did I just see this, though? Like, for real, she just passing her man around, and he gotta be the weirdest. Like, I mean, come on. We all know 3 is better than 1, though. But damn it, though, like, you gotta be a fool, though. Now you having sex with your wife, her mother, and his, like, come on, bro. I mean, like, dog, for real? Did I just see that, though, man? Like, man, it's crazy. For real crazy. Speaking of crazy, you guys, man, since I've been podcasting and doing my thing for the amount of time that I've been doing it, and going on 2 years, I just, can't be, grateful. I mean, I can't say it enough. And I'm just so grateful that the amount of people that I come across and meet and connect with each and every week on the podcast, whether it's not on the podcast or just chatting, just about the podcast. I thank you guys so much, man. But the other people, man, who just be in my DMs, dog, or trying to get a hold of me and calling me, bro. Like, even if you want to be on the podcast, man, email me. I'll say it after every show. Email me or DM me. Don't sit up on Messenger or IG and call me. Like, bro, that's kind of a little personal. That really is. You don't know what I'm doing. I could be with my woman. I could just be, chilling or whatever. Don't just pick up the phone and just say, you know what? Let me call him. You can't make yourself available for everyone. You feel me? You got a family and everything. That's okay. Fiance, that's cool. But you can't make yourself available for each and every one, bro. Like, for real. I had a guy who wanted to be on the podcast, man. He said no names, man. And it's just like, this goes back to what Kendrick Funk was saying on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. Have you had someone fanning off, just fanning off, man, like, love your podcast, man. I love it, man. Great. I'm a very humble guy and all that, though. But I mean, I said it with even Chris. I think it was off the air. Shout out to my guy Chris, man. He just celebrated his 100th episode of his podcast. But he was saying it, man. Those episodes. Actually, I wouldn't even say that with Chris, but shout out to my man Chris. But I was saying it with my guy Warren Marlowe, who I had actually on my wrestling podcast this past Friday. We are now the commission, me, Warren Marlowe, and my man Blackheart Shislansky. You guys go check that episode out right now. We are the commission. 3 guys coming together, man, being a podcast group and just learning and growing from one another. So yeah, man, every time we get together and connect. So it's the commission. We are inviting other wrestling podcasters to come in and do their thing, man. So it's just not, Warren, it's not just a wrestling talk about variety of stuff just like I do. So and Shiz also, but he's mainly the wrestling podcast, Off the Top Ropes podcast, and go follow Buzzing with Marlo. But you guys, man, like my guy Marlo was saying, man, those guys or girls, who get on your podcast or message you, who be so fanning over you, man. Those interviews don't never go so well. Like I had a guy who was like, man, I love the podcast, fan, and I ain't hear from the guy since, but came on a wrestling show, man, and did not know nothing about wrestling. So I was like, well, I guess this was just a little promoting thing for you, just to, be on my podcast, like. Crazy. But for real, you guys, man, it's been an awesome show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in here on EB Radio and YouTube for the 1130 podcast. Yes, thank you guys so much, man. Yo, before I go, you know what time it is, man. Don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow the 1130 podcast on Instagram and Twitter at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. And once again, subscribe to the 1130 podcast on YouTube. Yes, subscribe to the 1130 podcast on YouTube. Like it, leave a comment, share it, do all that great stuff, man, for real. And also, if you'd like to be a guest here on the podcast, email me. That's the 1130 podcast at gmail.com, or just DM me on social media so we can work, man, for real. Just like different hit me on social media and was like, yo, I'm down with this, man. I love it. I'm down with it. Let's go. And I was like, yo, let's go. Let's set it off. But for real, man, it's been another banger. Episode 103 is in the books, man. Yo, we have 5.1 thousand downloads for the wrestling podcast. Thank everyone for tuning in each and every week, man. For real, thank everyone for tuning in each and every week. It's an honor. I'm just blessed, man. For real, thank you guys so much, man. Before I head on out of here, man, I guess that's it. For real, hope you guys stay safe, stay blessed. Give all the glory to God, man. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you this Friday on Talk Pro or Wrestling, you guys. Yes, visit me this Friday on the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts is that, for real, man. And see you guys next week here on the 1130 podcast here on EB Radio and YouTube. Yo, it's your man Dre, a.k.a. Dre on Wheels, and I'm out.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one.
He the one, nigga.
So let's breeze, baby.
He the one.
Who with me?
So yeah. Breeze, baby.
Let's get it. You with me? Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options. We blessed, we ain't got them problems.